Shut up, fool! What's grinding my gears today? Well, these things: theft, reparations, and leftist American women. Fortunately, I'm married and I don't have to worry about leftist American women, or leftist Canadian women for that matter. Let's see, what's the summary? Let me give you an overview. I get really upset when I see people take things that don't belong to them for, not paying for it, just grabbing it. Makes me really, really upset. I don't know why. I've evolved this way to be angry and mad. And I'm not completely dead inside. This is an issue where, I'm going to show a video soon. And I don't know if I'm happy or sad about me being... well, you'll see. It's the video of a couple of store owners taking a big stick and beating a guy who's trying to steal a big garbage can full of cigarettes. And I'm probably not alone. There's probably a ton of people out there who watched that video already and said, "Yeah, good for the store owners." If every thief got a beat down like that every time they stole something, there'd probably be less thievery going on. And reparations, I want to bring up a study of that just came out yesterday, that says most people in California are against reparations, against it. This is like the safe haven of leftist blue state, and they're even against reparations. And then finally, leftist American women. Why men are going overseas to get some females. Hard to get too upset about it. Well, upon reflection, let me show the video in case some people here have not seen it. Let's see, crop that. Oh, this is people with, what do you call it? That syndrome where everything has to be perfect. You notice I didn't make it perfect. It's a little off. This is for you people. It's a little bit off on purpose to help you learn and cope with your dysfunction. Does this need a setup? No.
This is not good, bro. I'm telling you. This is not good, bro.
Hey, let me get a swisher though. Can I get a strip? Hey, can I get a swisher? Let me get a swisher.
Back up. Back up. Put a gun on his.
So the guy behind the counter who works there is asking the thief for Swisher Sweets, a cheap cigar. Because if he takes it, it's bad. But if he gets it given to him, then he can accept it.
And just let him go. There's nothing you can do. But it's nothing you can do. It's like they're not gonna do nothing. You just have to just claim you have insurance.
OCD, thank you, Mr. Mobile.
You have insurance?
What?
Does he have insurance?
Yeah, he got insurance.
No, it hurts you.
Stockton, California.
Nothing you can do, man. There's nothing you can do, man, until you call police. Ain't nothing you can do, man, until police come in. Hey, don't. Hey.
And by the way, so far I think it's mostly cigarettes he's stealing. You honestly think he's going to smoke all that? No. He's stealing for resale.
Ain't nothing you can do, man. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Here we go.
okay. Okay, brother. Okay. Ah.
So he's crying uncle, but the beating continues. And for the record, there's no white people that I can see in this store. People of color executing justice on people of color, right?
It's okay. Okay, brother. Okay. Ah. 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 Okay.
That's called whooping your ass. Whoop him! Get him!
Okay.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Now go.
I'm gonna go.
Go.
I'll go. Let me go.
Go.
I'll go, baby.
Go.
This is what happens when you don't have law and order. People take law and order into their own hands. Right?
Go. Go. Hey, let him go. Just let him go. Just let him go. That's enough. That's enough. Hey, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. Okay. Hey, okay. No more. No more. No more. Please. It's okay. Let him go. Just let him go. Hey, you go. Go. You want to go? Let's go. Let's go. You want the police to get him?
See, I'm used to seeing stuff like this. I've seen a lot of videos like this, but most of them are not in the United States. They're in some third world country where you see vigilanti. What's the word? Vigilant. Justice. People taking the justice in their own hand. You see this like mobs of people beating up a thief or a robber or rapist or whatever. You don't see this in America until, I don't know, at least you're seeing it on TikTok and on YouTube now way more than we used to. I should do a poll. Vigilante, thank you. I should do a poll on this. If what you guys think, if this is warranted or not.
You want to call police to get him?
Please let me go by my leg.
Police to get him? Okay. You want police to get him? Okay. They coming? You hold him till the police come in.
Please.
You call police? You call police? You call police?
I can't move, baby.
You call. If you don't call police, let him go. You want to let him go? He doesn't have a gun. He doesn't have a gun. He's lying.
I made it a feelings question in the poll.
He's lying. He doesn't have a gun. You don't have a gun. You have a gun? Do you have a gun?
No.
He's lying. Let's let him go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's get him. Let's get him. Okay. Come on. Okay. No, it's okay. Okay. No more. You know no more. No more come here, right? No more come and do that, right?
Please,
brother, please. I'm your brother, right? No more do this, okay?
I got you.
Let's go.
What? See, I'm your brother? What does that mean? Because they're both black? See the black hand? You're not...
Let's go. Let's go. No, let him go.
No, please.
Please, no, brother. He had a problem with you?
Yeah, bro.
He owe you a lot of money?
How many on there?
He owe you a lot of money? Do he owe you a lot of money? He owe you a lot of money? Let him go.
See, if it were up to me, I wouldn't just let him go. I'd make him clean up that mess he made. Put everything back, spend like 5 hours restocking all that. Then I would let him go.
Please let him go. Come on.
I can't walk.
No, you can. Let's go. You better walk tonight.
I can't.
You better walk tonight. You better walk tonight. Let's go. Let's go. Don't come back here no more. Okay? Don't do that, okay? They shoot you.
Bro, can I get a soda?
Can I get a soda? I try to steal from you. You beat me down. But can I get a soda?
Man, what kind of shit on me? And you do this so no. Okay? Get the fuck down. Hold on. Hey, just be cool, man.
So, question is, what's the solution to this? 76% of you say this was watching this made you feel good because maybe it gives you a sense of justice. 24% of you said it made you feel bad. Maybe it made you feel bad because not because of the beating, but that this guy would even do this in the first place. I got many thoughts about this. One of them is the odds of this happening would plummet greatly if all children were raised in a home with a good father. Oh, yeah. Put the guilt on them, Pinecreek. And fatherhood is a personal choice. Being there for your kids is a personal choice that you can't blame government for. Getting someone pregnant, having a child are personal decisions you can't blame government or society on. This is your responsibility. You're raising kids who end up stealing. Stop it. But what's the solution? Is the solution to find parents and as well as the perpetrators? I remember on the farm we had some crazy kids who kept, like, our mailbox was on the main highway. We had a long driveway, and there was like some punk kids who would always take their trucks and drive over our mailbox. And finally my dad caught them one day, called the police, and the police wanted to find them. And my dad said, no, I don't want them to be fined. I want them to fix my mailbox and put it back in the ground. Or buy me a new mailbox and dig the hole and put it in the ground. And the judge said, no, we can't do that. We can't force them to work. We can find them, but we can't force them to work. But I think the solution to some of these problems is to make people work. I would take, if I was the governor or the president, no, it'd be state laws. I would make laws say, hey, if you steal, you get put on a bus, and you're sent to a farm, and you do hard labor. And depending on the value of the things stolen or tried to steal, that's how many days you have to work. Hard labor, and you don't get food until you, let's say, pull weeds. Spend 8 hours, 10 hours a day pulling weeds. Then you get a hot meal. And the next morning, you get up, spend another 10 hours. Make them work for food. No cell phones, no friends, just you, the weeds, the soil, and the hot sun. And the people on the left would love this solution because you're promoting organic farming. No herbicides, no pesticides, no tractors driving over land killing the little worms and bugs in the ground. I mean, what better solution to make everybody happy? Send thieves to farms to do hard manual labor. But what's California's solution?
More common. Now, a bill in the Capitol aims to curb that by requiring employees across the state to receive training and prohibit employers from making staff that are not security guards confront suspects.
Our political reporter Morgan Reiner joins us now. This bill has some strong...
They should have to work and get paid cash, but have to go hand deliver the cash to who they stole it from. Oh, that's not a bad solution, Mason Dry, and thank you for the donation. But you got to remember that you're feeding them and providing a bed to sleep in, so they got to pay for that first. And then they have to pay whoever they harmed.
Strong opposition, doesn't it, Morgan?
Yes, opposition from the business community, cities and counties across the state, even school superintendents. They believe this bill will not actually do anything to prevent violence and will only add to their workload.
Stephanie Dendero is closing down her furnishing and home decor store in Stockton after 21 years of operating it.
5 to 10 times a day, people come in stealing, just taking what they want. The reactions to when you confront them is horrible. It becomes very fearful.
Samantha Webster has worked at Safeway for 21 years.
I saw a man stealing cheese and other items. I went to him per Albertson's shoplifter policy, which is to engage a suspected shoplifter and perform customer service.
Yeah, some people ask questions like, where does inflation come from? Well, maybe some thieves cause inflation. Because who pays for all the items stolen? Well, insurance companies, but then you have to pay higher insurance premiums when you keep making claims, and then they have to raise prices to pay for that. I mean, it does affect society. Another possible solution is there's a lot of big guys. In fact, there's probably a lot of big homeless guys who from Iraq, who fought in Iraq, Middle East, would just love the opportunity to step in between a door and a shoplifter. Let those guys do what they do well. Intimidate, scare, and if need be, prevent them from exiting. But the solution is not to tell people to not intervene. I don't know. It's almost like put shock collars on everybody before they enter a store, and you don't get the shock collar off until you paid. And if you try to walk out, you just but no, I wouldn't want to have a shock collar put on me every time I go in a store, so that wouldn't work. But yeah, something has to be done about this. And even Destiny, you know, guys know Destiny? He responded to this video here. So look at what's in that cart. It is like 50 to 100 pounds of meat. And here's just an average citizen trying to prevent it from happening. This is why you need big men in society, people. A big man say, no, you're not getting away with this meat. You think this woman's going to feed her family with this? No. And this is what Destiny said on his on Twitter today. Was it today? Yeah, 1 hour ago. This woman is stealing literally hundreds of pounds of meat. I don't know if it's hundreds of pounds, but at least 50 to 100 maybe. She's not stealing food to feed her family. She's a thief looking to resell and turn a profit. F off with this white savior shit. It's disgusting. Yeah, if you're a person who says, well, systemic racism is the cause of this. If we didn't have systemic racism, stuff like this wouldn't be happening. If you're a leftist or any person who says something like that, you're the real racist. You're basically saying, oh, this person has no free will of their own, no choices of their own. They can't choose to behave. Society's just made them into what they are, and so we can't shame them. We can't do anything. No, I say baloney. Even as a determinist, I say baloney, because shaming works. Not allowing, putting people in jail, forcing them to be accountable for their actions works. Yeah, this is systemic feel sorry forism. Good job, Sneed McFeed. I like what you did there. Okay, let's move on to reparations. This came out September 10th. Today's September 11th. Oh, something big happened on this day. Remember that? I still remember where I was. I just woke up. 6 a.m. Arizona time. Turn on the TV. Boom. I remember saying to my wife, I think that building's going to come down. Sure enough, did. Oh. September 12th was probably the day where the United States, in my lifetime, since I've been living here, was the most united. Isn't it crazy that you need it? Such a tragedy to unite people together. But anyhow, reparations. Majority of voters believe black Californians continue to be affected by a legacy of slavery, yet cash reparations face headwinds. Okay, so there's some interesting data in here. How much does... Can you guys see that? Should I make it bigger? Should I make it clearer? Yeah, let's try that. You should be able to see that. How much does slavery affect the position of black? And they spelled affect correctly. That's good. 39% of Democrats say a great deal. The legacy of slavery affects a great deal. Republicans only say 6%. Look at that huge divide. If you're strongly conservative, you say, no, the legacy of slavery does not affect the position of Californians today in the year 2023. But if you're strongly liberal, 57%. That's just huge. Now, what would make someone say, no, the legacy of slavery does not affect Californians a great deal or some today? You think these people are just stupid? And what would cause someone to say, of course, 57% say, yeah, strongly liberal? It greatly affects the position. Well, they would say, well, a lot of people have connections and business connections and employment connections through their parents, grandparents, and maybe even great-grandparents who bequeathed them jobs and money, and people with slave ancestry don't have that. Okay, fair enough argument. But the strongly conservative might say, United States is the land of opportunity. If you know how to get up, make yourself breakfast, and show up on work on time, if you manage to keep your penis in your pants until you're married and have somewhat of some cash in the bank, you're almost guaranteed a middle-class income no matter what skin color you are. Well, that sounds reasonable too. But this is part of what I think is the feel sorry for-ism. If you feel sorry for people, you're more likely to say, oh yeah, it greatly affects. Can't be your fault. It's your history. In the state of California, is the state of California doing too much, too little, or about the right amount to ensure black residents have a fair chance? See, this is the thing that makes my underwear get knots. It's this, look at this, legacy of slavery, black Californians. There's an assumption there. There's an assumption that black and slavery go hand in hand. Now, I would say majority of the time in the United States, that's a good assumption. But what percentage of black people in the United States have zero slavery history? It's not insignificant. There's 14% of the United States black in quotes. What percentage of them have slave history? Half at best? Let's see what else they got here. Opinions of Reparations Task Force recommendation to make cash payments to the black descendants of slaves now living in California. Okay, so this is a better one because they're now tying together the idea of blackness to slavery. 43% of Democrats favor cash payments. Republicans, 3%. Boy, that's way higher than I thought it would be. No party, say 24%. Okay, this is interesting to me. Less than half of even the feel sorry for Democrats think cash payments is the way to go. And only 17% of those strongly, 26% somewhat. 42% of Democrats oppose cash payments to black descendants of slaves. Only 25% of whites favor it, 24% of Latinos, 23% of Asians, and 76% of blacks. That's not surprising, is it? Females, 30% favor, 24% males favor. This is the feel sorry forism. If you're a female, you're more likely to have compassion, sympathy, empathy. Males, they're too cold-hearted. Same with age. If you're young and stupid, you favor reparations. If you're old and wise, you don't as much. Reasons. What do we got here? Oh yeah, here we go. Reasons for opposing making cash payments to descendants of black descendants of slaves now living in California. By the way, how would you verify that? Like, you got to have a pretty reliable ancestry. Do we rely on the Mormons to figure this out? And what happens if you got, let's say, 2 slaves a couple hundred years ago? They married and have kids, and those kids have kids, and those kids, one of them actually married a white girl and had kids, and then those kids married other mixed kids, or African Americans, or Nigerians, or white people. I mean, how in the world do you actually have to get one of those light detectors and say, okay, check the melanin? Yeah, you're dark enough. I think you should get money. I mean, this is absolutely nuts. Okay, let's see what people say. It's unfair to ask today's taxpayers to pay for wrongs committed in the past. 60% said that. It's not fair to single out one group of reparations when other racial and religious groups have been wronged in the past. 53% said that is a reason. Yeah. I mean, if you go back far enough, everybody's been enslaved or persecuted. Proving who is eligible for, I'm thinking about the United States. The most recent case of systematic racism in this country is not African Americans, it's Asians, but in concentration camps during World War II. Proving who is eligible for reparations and how much they would be owed would be too complicated. I think that would be my go-to. Reparations are a national issue and not one that a single state should try to take on. That's true. The payments would cost the states too much. That's definitely true. California, I think, is the top 10 most indebted states. Actually, it could be number 1 or 2. Yeah. Yeah, can you imagine if a single state decided to do it and they announced ahead of time, okay, 1 year from now, we're going to send out reparation checks. You think there'd be some black people from Arizona and Nevada moving into California? I think so. I should do a poll on here. Reparations for black people, African Americans. Lean good, lean bad. See what you guys think. Oh, and while you guys are voting, we've got to check NASA's website. Every week you should check the website, see how the climate's trying to kill us. Or how we're trying, sorry, I got that backwards. How we're trying to kill the climate. Global temperature, oh, look at that, terrible. But we're kind of flat to down for the last 6 years, okay. So that hasn't changed. How about sea levels? Oh, that's terrible. That looks linear though to me, doesn't it? Yeah, it's actually down from beginning of the year. A little bit. Sea levels. Okay, that's good. That's good. Ice sheets. Not extent, but oh yeah, look at this. Terrible, terrible. Oh, but we got more ice in the Arctic. That's weird. Thought the climate's warming. Okay, what do we got for welcome to the feel sorry for left-leaning liberals here. 12% of you say reparations. Oh, it's down to 10%. Lean good. Well, I got a compromise that we can make. The compromise would be if you're a left-leaning Democrat, it can be taken out of your checks. So only Democrats pay the reparations if they're for it. Makes sense, right? Okay, so now let's talk about women. American women who lean left, and why some men are going to other places to find love.
She's still not going to choose you, baby. I'm sorry. It gives manipulative and
Okay, so these are American women complaining about men who go overseas to find women.
desperation. Just saying. For them to go in search of spouses who they feel are going to be more subservient to them and do what they want, basically some sort of indentured servitude.
It's easier for these men to...
So these are men. This is a man who I guess went to a place like Thailand or wherever to get a woman, and they're watching American women complain about them.
Go overseas, get one of these victims.
A lot of these passport bros are exploiting a power imbalance economically.
Y'all are taking advantage of these women.
If you feel that you need to go to Antarctica to marry a polar bear,
but they're still doing the, oh, we're just going to leave and go to another country and find women, or you're going to die alone. Good luck dying alone with your cats.
Get a polar bear.
Yeah, it is much easier for these passport bros to go to other countries and exploit younger, more impressionable, less educated or uneducated.
Oh man, less educated. These young women just kind of makes it sound like they're stupid. They can't say no to these American men. They can't think about it.
Girls living in poverty.
You know why? Because we don't care.
Oh, they're desperate, living in poverty.
Look, we don't care.
We do not care.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
You pay attention to the passport bros, like they're getting women from like the DR, Colombia, yes. The Philippines, Thailand, like women that can speak very little English, women that don't have education.
Isn't it interesting how not speaking or speaking a little English is bad when it comes to men going to other countries? Well, other countries coming here, then it's good. I don't know.
Excuse me?
But you listen, women are raised to be wives. Mm-hmm. They learn everything from birth, from their father, from their mother, how to be a wife and how to support your man.
Women that need them.
It's not even women that need them. It's women that treat them with respect.
So we don't.
Y'all know y'all don't.
Yeah, that's a good point. See, let me speak to the one woman in here right now. One leftist woman. Men tend to be more competitive on a lot of things than women. So when a man goes out to his job or whatever he does, if he works at home, it's a little less. But even then, men are competing most of the day against other men. They don't want to come home and then compete against their wife or their woman. They just want to relax. No fighting, no competing. No outmaneuvering. Just relax. And it seems like people from other more traditional cultures, women understand that.
When the Passport Bros video started trending online, especially on TikTok, some American women could not take it. They went berserk.
And wives in other countries.
Men are traveling overseas to find wives in other countries. Why? I'm right here. I'm single.
No,
Why? I want to be married.
Right, but I'm saying, do you typically see women traveling overseas?
If men are traveling overseas to countries that have less money and less education, it's because they want a woman who is dependent on them for their livelihood, for their resources, to have a good life. And I don't think that that is a good thing.
Why? Why is that not a good thing for a woman to be dependent on a man? You know, I love asking simple questions like that because people just say, well, duh, of course it's bad for a woman to be dependent on a man. But what, like most marriages, well, I'd say all marriages, it's a transaction. It's what the woman can do for the man and what the man can do for the woman. It's a transaction. It's a business deal. I know that sounds cold, but the most important business deal of that union is the production of offspring. Having kids and raising them together and then sharing those experiences. But I actually think that if it can be dangerous if they're not dependent on each other in any way. There has to be some type of dependency there in order for, I know this sounds weird to people, but in order to make it work, it's like both sides have to be getting something out of the relationship. It cannot be one-sided. So if a woman very freely says, I will give you a clean house, food, and coitus if you give me protection and provision. Why is that bad?
A lot of the men I know that go overseas to find wives are not great dudes.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, they're pervy.
The only men who like to go overseas to find a partner is men who like to prey on vulnerable women. Because when you go find a wife in the Philippines or Thailand or Eastern Europe or wherever these places are that are overseas, I'm assuming you mean they're more biddable, that they're less outspoken, they don't demand anything of you, that they're just happy to be rescued from their poverty.
Is it okay to demand things from wives and girlfriends?
Stricken life of no opportunity.
What do you mean by that? Because she makes it sound like these overseas, I don't know why she used quotes, they don't demand anything of men. She's making it sound like it's good to demand things of men. So if it's good to demand things of men, is it good to demand things of women? Lean yes, lean no.
And I sincerely hope that those ding-dongs go wherever they go and meet up with green card girlies who take them to the fucking cleaners. Their whole voyage to find a woman overseas is to find someone to subjugate. Someone who doesn't talk back, cooks and cleans, as pretty much of service. It's never about finding a deep connection, a friendship.
Okay, it's this harsh truth time. It's never about finding a deep connection. Real life is not Disney, okay? Real life is not prince and princesses finding deep connections. Let me tell you the truth. I won't say all men, but I'd say the vast, vast majority of men, if they never wanted children, if they never needed coitus, they would not get married. I'll say that again. It's coitus and children. The desire for both is the reason why men get married. It's not for a deep connection. That's the truth. Men rather be respected and have those desires fulfilled, children, offspring, coitus, than have a lifelong relationship with a woman. Men can get along better with men in most cases than women. If it was about lifelong relationship, Men can have men as friends, go out bowling, poker. But men who are not gay, coitus, kids. Not to say that you can't be friends with your wife and have deep connections. I'm not saying that, I'm not poo-pooing that, but I'm saying men would not get married if it wasn't for kids, offspring, and coitus. Now, why do women want to get married? Same reason. Kids, but not coitus. It's more like, I'm home alone. I hear some noises in the backyard. She wants a man there to protect her. She's at home. The toilet's plugged. Most women want a man to unclog the toilet for her.
Bond, it's about a slave. Every one of these passport bros are men that none of us want here. Not a single one. I sincerely hope that the minute that those girls get here and they get their green card, they turn into Houdini and disappear.
Yeah, Passport Bros says, I think their philosophy is you go overseas, find a wife, but you marry the wife there under their laws, and you don't bring them back to the U.S. And if you do bring them back, they're on a visitor visa, not as your wife. That way, all the marital laws, taking 50% of your income, all that stuff, if you have U.S. assets in the U.S., the wife is not privy to it. So it's a way to protect men from women who are just doing it for the green card or money.
And that's what a lot of these dudes don't understand. These girls are in it for the bag. They don't like you. They don't want you.
See, that's... here's another shocking thing to educate some women on. Some women, especially younger women. Men are actually not that... They don't really care if women like them or are attracted to them. As long as the woman gives them coitus and kids, and these more traditional men keep the house clean and feed them. Like, they don't want to be hated, but if you're not like, oh, you're a beautiful, handsome man, I love you so much. No, men really don't need that. I hope I'm not shocking anyone here with this. I hope everyone here already knows this.
I'm looking for a woman young enough to have children because I don't have children. I want to be a dad, so I'll give you everything if you give me everything. Couldn't even get to that point. But I could have that conversation with a woman in the Philippines like I had with Jayanne, and she would say, okay, tell me more.
And no.
Yeah, here's the transaction. See, this is the honesty. It's like, I want kids, I want a clean house, I want food, I want coitus. Can you provide that for me? And if you can, I'll give you X, Y, and Z. You don't have to worry about paying for anything. I will pay if you give me this. Deal? Shake hands? Pinky promise? Like, what's wrong with that?
The hate videos did not stop. It got rather intensified to a point where it did not even look normal or reasonable anymore.
The only reason an Asian woman would marry you is because of the prospect of a better life.
You go find a wife in the Philippines or Thailand or wherever.
Yeah, a prospect for a better life. What's wrong with that? If a man can give you a better life and all you have to do is give him coitus, clean house, food, and kids, all you have to do. Actually, having kids is a better life. Having a clean house is a better life. Having good food is a better life for both parties.
Places are that are overseas. They're just happy to be rescued from their poverty-stricken life of no opportunity.
You may or may not be able to speak English properly, and
so can you?
At least she said it well. She said, at least she can't speak English good.
Cook?
Yes, I can cook, I can clean.
Yeah, see, this is why I came to Thailand, to find a traditional woman. See, in the United States, all they do
Oh my God.
is complain.
A lot of the passport bros will be like, women only want you for your money. And then they go get their 90-day fiance on, and she's clearly just with you for your money. Where you, if I'm working all day, sorry, I maybe don't want.
How do you split up bills and chores between you and your wife? Asked Mason Dry. Mason, you ask such wonderful questions. I like you. You and I can be friends. Okay, a little insight in the Pinecreek household. We have one bank account, so we don't split up bills. My money is her money. Her money is my money. Chores, basically traditional. So anything to do with outside or even dirty stuff inside, I do, and my son does. Anything that is more typically like cleaning, cooking. I actually love to cook, so I do a lot of my own cooking. I do my own laundry too, but is more my wife's genre. See, I need my wife. I am dependent on my wife for talking to my kids when they need a hug, when they need just an ear to listen and nod and understand. I'm not good at that. My wife needs me to make sure the kids behave. They're older now, so but I'm talking about when they were younger. Like one time my son really disrespected my wife. One time. Never, ever happened again. Never happened again. My son made one mistake. He never made it again. I didn't hit him. Didn't use capital punishment. But I laid down the law. Said you do not treat your mother that way. Now, if my wife was a single mother, there would be no man in the house to do that to the son. This is why you get thieves later on in life, because there's no fathers in the home to lay down the law, saying you're not doing that. My son's 17 right now. He's taller than me, but he's not bigger than me. He's not stronger than me. He can run faster than me, though. I got a bad knee. But without hurting him, I can physically restrain him, no problem. I can give him a hug and not let go, and he is paralyzed. He can't do a thing. Now, maybe if he took some martial arts, he could, but he hasn't, so I still have the advantage. Now, I've never had to do that, except for maybe once, without hurting him. But that's why it's so important to have fathers in the home. Because there comes an age where a son, maybe even a daughter, can look the mother in the eye and say, no, I'm not doing this, and you can't stop me. Or maybe even, I don't know, be violent against the mother. But when there's a father in home, it's a different ball game.
I want to come home and cook for 2 hours to feed you when you get off. Even when I'm not working all day, I don't want to be home cooking for 2 hours. It's men that talk like this, that act like this, who hate black women. To be fair, he's also just comparing American women. Well, he didn't go to Africa. He went to...
No, my son didn't ask for a soda, and I didn't beat him with a stick. The only time I used or spanked my son, and it's like twice, maybe 3 times. And my daughter, actually my wife has spanked our kids way more than me. And it was when I was a Christian, before I became an atheist. They were very young, I don't know, 4 or 5. Yeah, but I was very fortunate. We are very fortunate that we got great kids. There was almost no need for it. I think one time I stopped my wife because she wanted to slap the hands of our kids. I said, no, just let me talk to them. Like I could talk to my kids when they were younger in such a strict, harsh tone, I could make them cry without touching them. And not by saying, not abusing them verbally, just being forceful, direct, you will not do this. They just look in my eyes and they start crying. Now, there's some kids who are just so defiant that would have no effect on them. But with my kids, they were so sensitive that they probably get that from their mother, that just a strict, harsh tone or serious tone was enough to scare them straight.
Thailand. But he said American. He could have gone to Jamaica too. It's not like he went to a European country. Yeah, but you're not ending up in Thailand. You're choosing Thailand. It's not even about the woman. It's just cheaper in Thailand. You can't get no in America because the eggs is $10. Unfortunately, we have to attach that to race. But to be fair though, he was ugly. Sir, you are not fine. No, he's not.
Passport bros are black men from America that can't get no so they go to third world countries and get and talk about.
That's partly true, that for a lot of men, they can't get American women. But that's because American women, their standards are unbelievably crazy. Like, you guys have seen videos of people asking women, what do they want in a man? Has to be over 6 feet tall, has to make 6 figures, stable job, all this, good looking. You realize what percentage of the population makes 6 figures over 6 feet tall? Like maybe 1%. Jeff, I'm sorry if I made you cry with my strict, harsh tone just now. I know you're very sensitive. But please know I wasn't really directing that at you.
These prostitutes treat them with so much love and care, and they're trying to get more black. I haven't seen a white yet. Are there white men in this? Because I feel like it's only men.
No, it's because I really think there's some big value in the passport. Like, it's like, you know, everybody can get one.
But they be on the internet like in America.
See, how many women would take a plunger to fix a dent in the car?
Women would never give me the time of day, so I came out to Thailand, and now I'm in Thailand, and all the women are fawning over me, and they have so much respect for me. Not like these
oh yeah, respect. Such a terrible thing.
American women.
Why wouldn't a man want respect from a woman? If they can get it elsewhere, why wouldn't they get it elsewhere?
Bros, get your passport and come out to these foreign countries.
Like, look at this on the right. Oh, such a horrible scene.
At the end of the day is...
Oh, no, that is a horrible scene. Okay. No. Pink?
Bros, get your passport
Pink
and
on a
come
man?
out to these foreign countries.
Don't you know stereotypes mean something? Yeah, men don't wear pink. That's a color for women. Pink, women. Blue, men. Dolls, women. Trucks, men. We need those stereotypes, otherwise the trans people won't know who they are. Oh no. What have I done?
The end of the day is, it's just about you.
You're the problem.
You're literally buying somewhere else and probably complaining about paying for dates here. Yo, it's corny.
At this point, some foreign women, especially the Filipinas, could not take it anymore. They clapped back and defended their love in the passport bros. It was fascinating.
Woke up with all these videos of women attacking the passport bros. Oh wait, let me just take a sip of the coffee that my passport boyfriend made me. As I was saying, when you really don't care why they had to fly abroad to find a wife, a girlfriend, then why are you making all of these hate videos? If you don't care at all, why are you reacting that way? You girls making these content, saying all these nasty words against the women were brought by the Western guy to their countries is just an example why they don't want you. Let me get this straight.
Well said. An example of why they don't want you.
You have been telling men for years that you don't want them, you don't need them, they don't meet your standards, that they don't treat you right. You can pay for your own hair, you can pay for your own nails, you can afford your own home, you can afford your own car. Men are good for nothing. you're strong, you're independent. Then you get mad when these men go to another country to actually find a woman that has the qualities that they are looking for in a wife. Make it make sense. I also want to talk about why this mindset that so many Western women have is actually extremely problematic. Because not only are you putting down the men who are going overseas with pure intentions, you're also putting down the woman from these other countries solely off of the fact that they were not brought up in a Western culture. Because you're
racism. You white liberal women in the United States are being racist when you say that these women are vulnerable and desperate and can't speak English and they don't know any better. I mean, they can't make proper, well-informed decisions for themselves. Can't you see how that can be construed as racist?
You're calling them uneducated, you're calling them poor, you're calling them weak, you're calling them vulnerable. You're creating a superiority complex where you are at the top.
White superiority.
And women from all these other countries are at the bottom. Now let me tell you something. If you were really superior, the men would not be leaving. And you would not be single.
Sensational.
I'm very good at cook, in cleaning. Also, I will serve you.
Oh my God, get out of here, sis. Over here in the West, we don't play that.
Where's my son? Oh, he's at school. Man. Gotta hook him up with some... Where was she from?
Okay, we're strong, independent queens who don't need no man. What you talking about serving?
I could offer my whole self. No secrets and all. Loyalty, faithfulness, everything that could make him happy.
You ever hear a Western...
Good point, Darkin. Why don't they want poor women to be rescued? So let's say it's all true. That they're poor, they're desperate, they need food, clothing, and shelter. What's wrong with an American man providing that for them? And in return, they get coitus and a clean house and some good food. And kids. Why is that bad? Seems like a good deal. Everybody's happy.
Talking about how she's going to make her man happy? No. You know what we hear from the West? What a man can do to make me happy. What a man can bring to the table for me. What I can benefit. How I could spend his money.
Big wake-up call was going to Japan. The women there don't have a drop of testosterone in their body. The way that they smile, the way that they talk to you, how high-pitched their voice is. Oh, it's just so nice. It's just so soothing and pleasant. Like you order something, and you're like, oh, and you just want to protect them. Just naturally, you feel more like a man because you want to protect and you want to provide for her. You just want to create that nice environment for this beautiful feminine woman. And then
this might be news for some people in the live stream chat, but a lot of men like very feminine women with the high voice and petite and need protecting. A lot of men love to do what we've evolved to do. Provide and protect.
Like the amount of bullshit that you need to put up with these women in America, how combative they are. Everything in the culture is steering them away from being feminine. It's like no, it's just the Cardi B thing. You need to be the tip-top guy in order to make a woman submit. But women are happy to just do that in Japan. None of them have their cleavage out. They're not showing too much like skin. They're dressed extremely girly with their dresses and their fingernails.
Yeah, that's another thing I hope is obvious, but a lot of men, I think, prefer the imagination before just everything hanging out. And for goodness sakes, if you're going to let things hang out, you better be good looking. Like, none of this muffin top spilling over your belt, your jeans. I mean, that's just disgusting. That's visual pollution. Stop it. But even if you're a great looking woman, it is nice to leave things to the imagination. You can wear clothes that are not like showing a ton of cleavage, but a man can still see that, oh, nice body, without having to show everything.
Someone was walking around with cat ears because it's goofy. Why am I putting up with women who want to be men at the same time when you could just go to a different place and find an actually feminine woman?
Japanese women are very feminine, they're very demure, they're very modest, they're not combative, they're not trash.
Do we have any men in here who have Japanese wives who can concur?
They're not outspoken and loud and obnoxious. They are very honorable women in the sense that they don't just do something and think like, oh, what is this effect going to have on me? They think, oh, what is this going to make my dad look like? What is this going to make my mom look like? What is this going to make my grandma look like? So and that's a really good girl to have around, a woman that considers.
Yeah, there's some good points here. If you are young and you're shopping for a future mate, if you're a young man, you're looking for a mate, and it's getting serious, let's say you find someone's getting serious, but not too serious, what you want to do first is you want to meet the parents. Okay, I'm going to really peeve off some people here. Some people are going to love this, some people will hate this. This is a very polarizing comment. You want to meet the parents. If there's no father when you show up to the home because the father lives in a different home, red flag, better off not going further. But if there is a father in the home, watch carefully how the wife treats her husband. If she doesn't treat her husband well, red flag, move on. Oh, here's another one. I don't know how you can get this information, but ask about cousins, uncles, aunts. If the divorce rate in her family, I'm speaking to the young men who are thinking about a future wife, if the divorce rate in that family is anywhere close to 50% or higher, move on. So find a young woman who has a mother and a father in the home when she was raised, depending on the age, and mother treats the father well, and the divorce rate is close to zero, as close to zero as you can in the history of their family. If all three things check out, you have my blessing.
Here's what her actions are going to affect not only her, but everybody around her.
Oh, have you heard of passport bros?
What is a passport?
Okay, passport bros are men that are so fed up with Western women because we're all apparently so woke and so terrible and Western women don't want to be wives that they are now going to other countries to find wives.
That's like which countries?
Southeast Asia, the Philippines, the Dominican Republic.
So it's like the opposite of the mail order bride.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
okay.
And if looks, really polarize more people now. If looks is important to you as a man, which I think most men it is, but to various degrees, look at the mom, but you want to key on one factor: ankles. Ankles. You want smaller ankles.
Okay, so instead of ordering out, instead of using stamps.com,
Yeah, and bringing them here, they're like, we want to get out.
It feels more expensive, but
It is. And so a lot of these men get remote jobs. And so they go there and they live in these countries and then they meet these women. And then
Good question, David. Two-Day David asks a very heartfelt question. That's good advice, generally sound advice. He says to me, what are people who grew up in broken homes supposed to do to make something different? That is a problem. Because if you take my advice to heart, then basically people who are raised in broken homes with a lot of incidences of divorce will never get married, never have kids. What do you do in that situation? I don't know. All I know is that if you want, for my own son, if you want to increase your chances of having a good, fruitful, lifelong relationship, I do think my advice is good. Like, Would I want my son to marry a woman from a broken home? All else equal, no. But there are still some great women who come from broken homes. I'm not denying that. But there's also great women who come from unbroken homes. So all else equal, it's a tough one. Like the same with women who have had to get divorces because their husbands beat them. It's no fault of their own, and they have kids. But there's just so much baggage there. Like, why would a man take that chance? Especially why would a man take the chance that he will have a relationship with a divorced woman with kids, and the ex-husband could come back someday and cause problems? Or the kids, one of them at least, will not like you or whatever. I mean, there's just so much baggage, so many potential things that go wrong. And there's women out there who have none of those problems. Why would you choose a woman with those problems versus a woman without those problems, all else equal? What should a woman look for in a man? Provider and protector. A man that's has no history of initiative, get up and go. A man that, like, I would advise my daughter to find a man who has a good identity of who he is driven somewhat to succeed, has passion, who is trustworthy, who is honest. And the same advice I gave to the women, who doesn't come from a broken home, who had a good father himself. So, yeah, some of the same things apply.
Women in the Western world, specifically the United States, are so pissed off about it. And they're like, you're going to all these countries where these women don't even know how to speak English. They can't even read. They're so uneducated. And then the men, like, film themselves with these women and, like, show themselves on dates. And the women are so elegant and they're so well-spoken and they're so traditional. And they're like, look at these women. Yeah, passport bros. Because Western women are so bad.
Did not know about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I'm here.
Interesting. I mean, I didn't know.
I saw some videos a while back that even liberal women, leftist women, a lot of them, I don't know what percentage, but a lot of them still prefer conservative men over liberal men. Like the more traditional masculine type men. I saw, what was it, on TikTok or something? I saw a bunch of videos of liberal women complaining, leftist women complaining that, why are all the really manly, masculine men I'm attracted to, why are they all conservative? Duh. It's because of the values.
A woman from abroad. I mean, she's been in America since she was 12, but still, she's Israeli.
So there you go.
Yeah.
You're like a reverse passport, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she came here and she got citizenship, so. Yeah.
You didn't import her?
I did not import my wife, no.
Make that very clear.
Well, in all this fiasco, the passport bros seem to be chilling. And I think you might be wondering, what sort of videos were they sharing that got so many American women triggered? Well, here you go.
All the American men out there, you need to go to Uganda and get you a pearl, get you a queen. That's what you need. These American women, they're not no good. Get you a woman from Uganda. I'm telling you. This is my third time telling you what to do. American men, please.
I love this. I love this. I love the fact it's interracial. Look at this. Like, you can't fake. Well, okay. Blink twice if he's holding you under against your will, a beautiful woman. But I think she looks sincerely happy.
It's a dating tip, and I'm telling you for the third and final time, go get, but you can't have her. She's mine. This one is all mine. Go get your own.
I can't see how anybody can hate this. I mean, this is great. Uh-oh. Cleavage. Uh-oh. No. No.
The 3 stages you're gonna go through being a passport bro. First stage is that initial leap of faith. You finally buy your ticket, nervously fire up the dating apps, getting more matches than you know what to do with. They become your guides, taking you on adventures, teaching you things you can't learn on Duolingo, like what poha means and why the hell they yell it at soccer games. You're gonna rack up so many new, interesting experiences during this time. The second stage, assembling your crew. You continue to work from your...
Actually, my double first cousin, we're first cousins on both sides of the family tree. He just moved to Thailand to retire with his wife. So I got connections there now. So for my son. Yeah. Actually, my daughter's looking for a conservative man. She figures all the traditional conservative men tend to be Christians, but she's not a Christian. I mean, like, maybe it can work for women. Passport sisses.
Laptop, the month ends, and goddamn, you have spent 50% less than your boring life in your home country. Food, housing, dating are sometimes 1/3 the price here. You start to turn it up. This is when you make your international friend group and start doing group activities, mansion parties, weekend trips, helicopter tours. If you thought it was cheap before, wait until you pull your resources together. Finally is the stability phase. This is when you stay in your favorite countries a little bit longer and you hire services to do all the mundane activities you don't.
Yeah, part of the reason why my cousin retired in Thailand is because he's from Canada. He moved back to Canada for a year and he couldn't take it. He was he taught embassy kids all around the world, and he was used to people serving him, like housekeepers, cooks. In these third world countries, it was very affordable, very cheap to have labor come in, do your laundry, clean your house, make food. When he went back to Canada, none of that happened. I mean, if you wanted someone to clean your house, you're paying like $25-30 an hour, and not as good as a job. So and he's just like, I've had enough of Canada. I'm going back to Asia, where I can live nicely. Is my daughter an atheist? I don't think she would call herself an atheist, but she basically is.
For me, it was laundry, house cleaning, cooking. Eat out or order in every single meal. With prices this cheap, why not? And you just freed up an extra 2 hours a day for personal growth. Trainers, diet plans, coaching are all accessible to...
If you don't want them, why are you so mad that they are leaving? That's a question that American women have to answer. Because at the end of the day, whether they admit it or not, they know it's an important conversation, and that the passport bros leaving and marrying foreign women is shrinking the pool of men that they themselves, their daughters and their sisters, can potentially select from. So it matters.
What are your thoughts on passport bros?
I think
I honestly think that, here's my prediction, that this keeps happening over the decades, that American women will change. They'll say, you know what? Having kids, staying at home is rewarding, fulfilling. I think I should do that. So I am willing to be a traditional wife so I can find a man.
Men here have really high expectations of what women should be like, or actually they're very old-fashioned, if you ask me. They want women to do everything while they work, and I think going abroad, they go for women who are more vulnerable, less exposure, they don't know what's available to them, so they just settle for someone like that because they think they're going to do everything for them, whereas women here, we work, we raise children, we do everything, we're very domesticated.
If they are living the same life as the girl that they're going for, just as long as there's no double standards, it should be fine.
And my mother works and teaches me that, you know, to be financially independent is important. Here, we're always about equality, like women.
Yeah, I don't know what the passport bros would say about this, but my guess is a lot of them are not against their wives working. It's just that the priority should be them and not their job. And that they're the main provider?
It should be.
Like, and I think in a lot of these other countries, you can live quite comfortably on a single income household. Whereas in the United States, that's very difficult.
Having the equal rights as men, and I think here they're against that, I guess, or intimidated. So they go for someone vulnerable with less opportunities, so they have a hold over them. Yes, they want us to be indoors at home behind barriers.
Me as a foreign man myself that have been to many different countries, I notice the difference how foreign women treat their men compared to how American women treat them. And I'm not going to bash American women, but we all can agree that American society promotes hookup culture, promotes infidelity, does not promote marriage, does not promote respect. And that's both sides of the coin. Men and women do not have traditional values. The type of man that I am, when my woman gets pregnant, I'm going to take care of everything. I want her to stay at home. I want her to relax. I want her to chill. And some women are cool with that. Some women are not. Typically, foreign women with traditional values are okay with that. You really don't have to shit on another person's preference. Trust me, if I want to start a family and I want...
Yeah, good point. Why shit on another person's preference? If a woman prefers to stay at home, have the man provide, she cooks, cleans, takes care of the kids when the man's gone. Is there anything wrong with that preference?
Want to get married, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to Jessica. I'm going to go talk to Maria.
And if you're an American woman and you don't understand why the passport bros became a thing, now the next video will help you understand why the passport bros movement went viral and is only growing stronger.
I think that you should just be a slut.
Women, sleep with who you want to sleep with. Do it however much you want to. I f***ed 3 dudes in one night. I went to a party. I had sex with 3 different guys in one night. They were. I cheated on my boyfriend with the guy I told him not to worry about.
If he goes on vacation with his boys, I am cheating.
Stop it. Get some help.
I think women should stop sleeping with men, to be honest.
When I'm in a relationship, I don't believe in spending my money on my man.
Many women, I didn't need a man to buy my house, to buy my car, or keep my lights on. I don't need you guys for anything.
Okay, now what if a man were to say the same thing? I don't need a woman to cook, to clean, to cook, to give me coitus. I got my hookers. I don't need women for anything. I mean, a wife for anything. I guess a man could say that, right? But where does that leave society? I do think marriage has one main purpose, and that's to raise children. And it has the added benefit of sort of being a witness to testify on each other's lives as you grow older together. Because sure, you can have friends who say, oh yeah, I remember that time, but odds are your wife will remember all the time.
Okay. I don't want a son because they're the problem.
To sustain myself financially, I can make myself happy, I can make myself work, as in, like, what in the world could a dude offer me?
You don't need a man to make you feel better, babe. Do you know what you need? An iced coffee. Dependent and your own money, and I don't need no or no man because man ain't.
I don't need no man.
You serious? The evil world we live in.
Girl that I want to make my wife, and I find her super attractive.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what I would do. I would make her my wife. I would ask her to marry me and then make her my wife. You say you are a feminist. You're 100%.
That is feminist.
You heard me say that.
Oh,
You heard.
make her my wife, like.
Yeah, because that's what I would do.
It's like I'm an equal human, the woman.
Well, you say that.
Make her your wife.
Obviously, she would want to be my wife.
She has her own life. She wants to be your wife too.
Yeah. Of course, but she's not going to.
She wants to go to the club. She wants to do her makeup.
No, she's not going to want to go to clubs. She's not going to want to go to clubs. No.
Go to the club. Why would a man go to the club if he has a fulfilling marriage? A club with women showing tons of cleavage and stuff. Like, why? To get the fire started so when he goes home he can put it in gear? I mean, okay. Enough fun. I'll open up the room for people to come in and disagree with me. Because that's where the real fun begins. Or you can come in and agree with me. But agreement's not as fun as disagreement. Okay, there's the link. Someone asked me, don't fall for... Please don't buy the red pill stuff. What exactly do you mean? I welcome you to come in, Ithaca. Tell me exactly what you mean and why I shouldn't buy into it. I see, Elias, you're talking religion. This is a political channel, not the religious channel. Have I heard of Brickgate? Not ringing a bell. As a married guy, I go to the club with my wife. Why? It's like loud in there, right? Don't your ears ring and you can't even, you have to yell to talk to each other? You just do it to dance? I guess if you like dancing. I'd hop on right now, Doug, but unlike you, I have a job. Oh, you W-2 person, you. W-2 person. You want to be a 1099, P.F. Chang. My daughter won't need a man. She can get one if she wants, but I don't want her feeling like her only role in life can be supplementing else's provisions. Your daughter will be unhappy too, David. Today, David. I truly believe that the greatest hope, meaning, and purpose one can get out of life is to raise a family with a spouse who's committed, loyal. That's the main purpose of marriage, in my view. Okay, so Darkin, you love to dance. I understand. Pinecreek is correct about everything he said about marriage and relationships, but he misses the crucial point: secularism and atheism destroy all things. I wouldn't say atheism per se, but I understand what you're saying about secularism, because it's mostly left-leaning. And left-leaning people tend to not get married. In fact, let's see here. If you don't believe me on that, of course they do get married, but not to the same extent as people on the right. Let's see, marital status. This is the 2020 exit polls. It's not a huge difference, but if you're married, you voted for Trump, 53%. You voted for Biden, 46%. If you're not married, 58%. That's actually significant. 40% Trump. So if you're a Democrat who wants more Democrats in leadership, advocate no marriage, no kids. Advocate more females. Let's see, where's gender? Gender is a synonym for sex, by the way, in case you didn't know. Just triggering everybody here. Male, 45% vote for Biden, 53% Trump. 8% difference, not insignificant. Female, 57% voted for Biden, 42% Trump. Not insignificant. But when a female gets married to a male, then the numbers change slightly. What's the problem with not getting married? Nothing. You can choose not to be married. I even said the other day that I'm not so sure about marriage in terms of government paperwork and all that. But I don't know. I need to think about that more. Because I do think there's something to be said about accountability. And there's definitely advantages to being married in the government's eyes. So I'm just saying that you're more likely to be happy. I think the odds are in your favor if you're married and have kids versus not married, no kids. I'm not saying this as an absolute. I'm not saying you can't be happy as a single guy or gal running around the world, experiencing new things. But I tell you, for the people who don't come from big families, I come from a big family. I had 50 first cousins. If I just close my eyes right now and think about my past childhood, teenage years, I got a ton of great memories of family reunions. You know, of course, there's some tough memories too. But even through the tough times, families comes together. Yeah, married people live longer. Religious people live longer. Yeah, on my mom's side, my mom had 8 brothers and sisters, so 9 total. My dad only had 2, but that's because my grandfather died when my dad was very young. But they would have probably had way more. So most of my first cousins come from my mom's side. Live a math, you got to get better at asking your questions. Like reread your sentence, your question to yourself. Or if you have to move your lips, go ahead and do that. And try to tighten up that question. Try to use fewer words. Be like Vesna if she's still here. Know how to write. Room's open if someone wants to call in. I'm starting to think it's me. Can't get people to call in really to the religious channel. Can't get people to call in to the political channel. Is it me? Is it me? Am I the problem? Oh no, I'm the problem. Nobody loves me. But at least I have a beautiful, faithful wife and 2 wonderful kids. So it doesn't even matter what you guys think. I know who I am. Pinecreek, if you weren't a bitter old man, instead you were a young whippersnapper, would you care more about climate change? Oh, I guess I did bring up NASA's website, so it's still on topic. No, is the answer. I wouldn't care more if I was younger. I did a research paper in my first year of college at age 19, maybe 20, on climate change back in 1990. What year was it? Something like that. I truly believe that the alarmism of climate change is a form of religion, something to rally people around, give hope, meaning, and purpose, feel good about yourself. You know, you've done something to help save future generations. Do I have to offer $5 gift cards to get people to come on? What? Someone come on and tell me if they agree or disagree with my advice to young men, young women. Young men, I said, when you're finding a wife, meet the parents. There's no father, no good father. Guys, assess both the quantity and the quality. Quantity being either 0 or 1. Red flag. Find a different woman. If the wife doesn't treat the husband well, constantly disrespecting, constantly correcting, go find another woman. And if the girl's or woman's mother has thick ankles and you care about looks, go find another woman. If there's a history of divorce, that's, I'd say, even higher than 20%. Find another woman. And if there's a history of divorce in the family, cousins, uncles, aunts. What if she has 2 dads? I would have to think about that because she was raised without a feminine influence, unless one of the guys is really feminine. I mean, like, I do believe that all else equal, a father and a mother is better to raise children than 2 dads or 2 moms. But hear me before you blow a gasket. I would also say that 2 moms and 2 dads, lesbians, especially gays tend to be wealthier. Probably, definitely, in a lot of cases, can raise children way better than the riffraff of parents we have in society that are heterosexual. So I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just saying all else equal, father, mother is better than 2 dads or 2 moms. If you don't like it, go to your room and cry for 2 hours. You'll feel better. Yeah, you're right. We evolved this way for a reason. I'm not religious. The thing is, I'm going to bother the religious one person in here, Elias, who's in here. He's Muslim, but I like him. Islam, Christianity, Judaism, the 3 big ones. Well, Hinduism is big. Judaism is smaller than Hinduism. In my opinion, they are borrowing from my worldview, the naturalistic worldview, in describing nature around them. So when Christians say, like there's certain verses in the New Testament about a woman's desire will be for her husband, that a woman should submit to her husband and a man should love his wife. Now it says they should both love each other. But what the writers of the New Testament are saying, they're looking at nature around them and seeing human nature. They're seeing that for men, it's more about respect than love. So that's why they're commanded to love their wives. Because this doesn't come naturally to them, so they need to really work on that. Whereas with women, the word submit can be viewed as give deference or respect. But love comes naturally for more women. So this is their crude attempt to describe what the reality is. And I don't think they were far off. What advice do you have for new parents? Man, hopefully you have enough money to get babysitters and still do once a week date nights with your spouse. Because that's important. Getting enough sleep is important. Keep your expectations reasonable as a new parent. There will come a time where you will get shit all over your hands and maybe your face. Expect it to happen. When they get older and they're toddlers, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and you go on trips, make sure you're well rested and fed. Hey, not Converse.
Douglas.
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't seen you in a while.
How you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I hadn't really seen too much on your new channel, but I've been watching a few things recently. So, you talking about the Passport Bros today, or what?
Yeah.
I seen you were saying something like, "Man, I can't get anybody on," so I thought I would jump on.
Well, you felt sorry for me.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But I think that, interestingly enough, one of the things I believe they try to straddle is this line between what's like natural to humans and the religious aspect, because they'll try and bring like biblical principles into it and say, see, but then whenever they don't look at these other principles that say like go against what the flesh tells you, and so so they'll be like, well, it's natural for men to have more than one partner and stuff, and so you ask them about that kind of stuff, about the Bible condemning,
Well, I would never say that. I think we humans are monogamous. Like maybe there's anomalies out there, just like there's psychopaths. There's some people who can actually function well in polyamory or polygamy.
I think that some people want that, like, backup for their view, right? Like the Passport Bros, so to speak. I don't think they're wrong on everything, of course, but I do think they're ignoring some of the things that, some of the issues around like society and,
Like what? Be specific. Like so far I hadn't heard anything I disagreed with the Passport Bros on, because to me it's just all preference, what people prefer to have.
Okay, yeah. Well, it depends on who you talk with, right? Because there's like this manosphere where there's like a certain branch, there's like a big spectrum, and a certain branch of like the Passport Bros lean more towards like the manosphere kind of thing, where women, you just have to be stoic with them and not really talk to them about anything like of substance, because they just can't really grasp it and this kind of thing, right? And basically, I don't know, they have some odd views on the man should be able to, if he's a high value man, he should be able to have multiple women because he's going to do it with or without a wife. And the wife, though, she should respect that and just kind of stay without multiple partners. You see what I mean? Like, she should be willing to sacrifice that for him making her.
I don't know how many high value men. Like, I consider myself a very high value man, and I mean, all the women want me, but yet I stay faithful.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. There's little things like that where, depending on where they're at on the spectrum, they start like veering into some of these issues. But I mean, like, if somebody just prefers, a more traditional woman, that seems understandable to me.
Right? Oh yeah.
And especially if like a lot of Asian women who come here, they do have these more traditional values. I've noticed in my experience, and it is kind of refreshing sometimes to.
Not only Asians, like the Caribbean, Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seems like just the higher the standard of living, like the Western nations, the more feminism, like the bad parts of feminism has caused this problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing is that it seems that one of the things they're picking up on is more feminist-minded women these days seem to, they don't just say, I prefer to be, a free spirit kind of stuff. They start immediately like shitting on the normal mother. It's like,
yeah,
you want me to stay home and raise kids and shape souls and like, make sure they grow up to be good kids and all like that stuff sucks. I want to work. It's like, you don't have to ruin what they're doing, saying that that's ridiculous. You know what
Like
I mean?
I totally understand women who say like they need to work because they'll go absolutely insane if they're home all the time. So I get that, but I do also believe, especially in the early years, the most rewarding thing a woman can do is raise her children. I mean, to farm it out to preschool teachers and nannies or whatever, to me is ridiculous and stupid and terrible, and you shouldn't do it. And if you're listening and you've done that, shame on you. How's that?
Well, I mean, I will say this: I'm about to have my third child, and it gets. I heard somebody once say something like, "Once you have multiple kids, you will become a servant to them unless you can find somebody to help you with them." And the more kids that I've had, the more I've kind of understood where they're coming from. Where at first I was kind of like, "Are you serious?" But yeah. So I've got a 12-year-old, sorry, a 2-year-old, and I'm about to have another one.
Wow.
And I've been losing sleep the last 2 years like crazy. And I mean, I can understand somebody help. The one thing I would say to the person who asked, what do you say to new parents, is go ahead and get organized. Like if you go ahead and have like a schedule, you already have like where you guys are going to put your shoes. You have like, you know what I mean? Like it sounds a little bit at the top, but
that's good advice. But as Mike Tyson said, you can have a plan, but everything changes when you get punched in the face. And that's what it is like with raising kids. Like something can happen and your whole day is changed.
Well, no, that's definitely true. It's just little things that like, oh, they left their shoes in the middle of the hallway again. Like, you know, that kind of thing where it's like those little things start adding up over time. But I wanted to ask you about this because I know you were a big Rush Limbaugh guy. Like, you listened to him and stuff. Now he's gone. I think Eric Erickson took over his time slot. Is that right? Have you?
I haven't kept up.
Okay.
And I was a bigger Rush Limbaugh fan when I was a Christian. I still think he's extremely talented, and there's a reason why he was the biggest talk show host.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've seen you've changed a lot just based on this channel, but
No, I've always been this way, actually.
Well, I mean, as far as being your openness, it seemed like you were less open to these type of discussions back when.
Well, I try to keep everything religious on the religious channel, but I was getting bored of that, so then I created this channel. It originally was for poker, but then I just switched it to keep things separate. But I've always been, like everything I've said now, people who loved me 5 years ago because I was an atheist and I bashed Christians, I still had these views. I just didn't express them. And I think a lot of atheists have these views and they don't express them because they might lose followers, but I didn't care about that. So, yeah.
Well,
I think it's actually built a bridge between me and a lot of Christians and Muslims. Like Elias says he loves me now or likes me now. Because we have a lot in common.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's funny because like one of the last things that we talked about before you even made this channel, and I mean, I'm sure it probably didn't like directly affect you making this channel, but I think one of the last things we were talking about is I said with street epistemology, here's one of my issues is it's the Socratic method. We already have it, but in Peter Boghossian's book, he says, go out into the bars and the schools, wherever you find Christians, and let's get the faith out of them and all this type of stuff. And I said, my biggest issue is that street epistemology is just the Socratic method aimed at Christians and other religious people. Whereas, weren't you guys, I said, it would seem odd if you guys were doing this toward like transgender, two-spirited people or whatever, and being like, do you really? Are you really that? Or are you just feeling things, And I think you were the only one on that panel who was like, oh no, I'll do that. And then when I seen your channel, this channel came up, I was like, oh, he's like leaned into that kind of notion of furthering the street epistemology to political matters. But I'm afraid, you get what I mean?
Yeah, like I just did a video on street epistemology, and I feel that people are, well, there's a problem with street epistemology, and that is that once you tell people where you're at, what you believe, then some people won't talk to me. Some atheists won't talk to me now because I'm a more traditional values type of guy. I'm a conservative. They think I'm just a fascist, bigoted, homophobe, racist, whatever. And to associate with Doug is now, making you a bigot. So
Oh, I'm going.
Yeah, and so Peter Boghossian, he has made very clear his stance on certain things, like on trans issues, on wokeness. And so I think a lot of people who love street epistemology and align, and when they hear street epistemology, they think of Peter Boghossian. Now they don't know what to do. It's like, here's this guy saying this hateful rhetoric, triggering people, but you can't expect people to do the SE method, the Socratic method, every single time. Like, at some point, they're going to just say what they believe and mock and ridicule things that they find harmful.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just there aren't many people who have heard that bit of logic where it's like, why don't you extend it to the political side, and then went through with it. And so I guess you're consistent in that.
Well, they do like, there's a lot of street epistemologists who talk about political things, but just like they criticize Peter that he will never do SE on very radical things that are harmful to society, like in their view, I think some SEers are the same way. Like, they won't question transgender people. They won't ask questions to raise doubt that maybe they're just gay. Maybe transgender doesn't exist. Like, you can't ask those questions. Like, as soon as you do, like, you're in trouble with a lot of atheists.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think that was Gavin McInnes's thing, wasn't it, where he was like, oh, there is no transgender political gays or something, and then he got like canceled and got in real big trouble for that. And so I think that was kind of it was like a stab kind of, you got to be careful.
Well, so far I've only had one video demonetized, blocked by YouTube.
Yeah.
On the political channel.
I care for him, so I just brought him up because that happened to him. But I was just saying, I know there's a lot of topics that, I congratulate you on being consistent, even if we disagree on many things.
I appreciate that.
All right. Well, I can get going. I have some work to do today, but good to talk to you.
Okay, and congratulations on the third child.
Thank you.
Take care. Peter is still touchy-feely. Lefty. Well, he's definitely more touchy-feely than me, I think. He did a live stream yesterday, and I was playing poker, and I was so tempted to go on his channel and question him. And I was hoping some SE people would go on his live stream and ask him questions about that. But nobody did. Maybe we'll have just a one-on-one, me and Peter. Peter, if you're listening, you can hop on right now. Because I know Peter Boghossian, he just doesn't do anything but just sit at home and wait for me to go live. A lot of people have lost their minds today and abandoned common sense. Yeah, how do you define common sense? For some people, it's common sense that you block puberty. For other people, it's like child abuse. So what, this is the advantage of religion, because they have a rule book, right? But no, I take that back, because even within a religion, you can, with a rule book, it's the interpretation of the rule book. So you got the progressive Christians, the conservative Christians. You even have progressive Muslims, like Perfect Dawa. Do you think your wife's Christianity and your atheism helps in child rearing? I actually do. I think a moderate. Well, my wife is not moderate. She's pretty hardcore, born again evangelical Christian. But I think her worldview and my worldview actually works great to raising children. Although, as P.F. Chang told me, are you listening, P.F. Chang? I'm actually a cultural Christian myself, so as an atheist. Yeah, Elias, I know. If you're a progressive Muslim, you're not a true Muslim. I get it. I would say most young women want to stay home and raise their families. Fulfilling? Not sure. David, it is fulfilling. But it's difficult. Well, everything fulfilling is difficult. I think conservatives understand that more than leftists. That you need adversity and difficultness to get fulfillment. Like you need to be uncomfortable. I think people on the right are a little more okay with that than on the left. And don't get me wrong, people on the right can go crazy too and whine and moan and complain about stuff. You said it's the most fulfilling thing. Yeah, I said the most fulfilling thing for most people. Can someone tell me something that might be more fulfilling than raising a child from birth to 18 and have them become productive members of society? Like what could beat that? Maybe being a brain surgeon and saving a life. Yeah. The thing is, to raise children, as Converse said, you gotta be organized. You gotta know. You gotta, like, my wife is an avid reader, unlike me, so she read all the books on parenting, and took out the good stuff. Said, "Nah, I don't think this works." And you got to be willing to experiment. Each child's a little different. Discovering alien life is more fulfilling. Not if they kill you. I'm fulfilled. Yeah, I can understand if you save humanity. Like, I'm sure climate change activists are way more fulfilled than a mother raising 3 children. I mean, I'm saving the planet, don't you know? You're just bringing up 3 kids who are probably going to be scumbags when they get older anyhow, and have a huge carbon footprint. I mean, what is more fulfilling than saving the planet that's been around for billions and billions of years, and we've only been around 200,000 years? I mean, it's incumbent upon us to save the planet. Ugh. I'm not putting words in your mouth, Livamath. I'm just talking about somebody else. I'm not saying you said that. Relax. I wasn't even envisioning you, because I don't know what you look like. I think raising grandchildren is equally as fulfilling. Yeah, I believe so. That's true. Yeah, people, the radical leftists and trans activists, not parents. Yeah, that makes me upset. Like, at least understand that the things that we see or hear about happening to kids with the trans issue, if you're a parent and you're imagining that happening to your own kids, like, let's be very clear. You do not want your kid to be trans. You, especially if they have dysphoria. You do not want that. I can just hear people. I can hear their arguments before they even think it. Well, are you saying you don't want your kids to be gay either? You don't want interracial relationships either because it's difficult? But we're talking about a subgroup that has a higher propensity of suicidal thoughts. You don't want that as a parent. You don't want your kids to have suicidal thoughts. You don't want your kids to have dysphoria. You don't want your kids taking, at least most parents, don't want their kids taking puberty blockers or testosterone or, heaven forbid, I won't say chopped off, remove surgically breasts or whatever. You do not want this. This is not something to be desired. So you ought to understand a parent's apprehension about all this. Actually, live a math. What was the guy's name? Milo Yiannopoulos once said, if he could take a pill that makes him not gay, he'd take it. But with being gay, you're not saying you were born in the wrong body. I mean, there's a huge difference. This is not being gay. You're not taking pills or doing surgery to fit in. Well, maybe cosmetic surgery. I mean, some gays just want the higher cheekbones. I mean, if you got the higher cheekbones, then, I mean, the guys just love it. You don't want your kids to be gay either. It's very hard to deal with something that many people hate about you. Yeah, I understand that, and I wish more people were like me. I wish more people... See, this is the whole thing. So much of this is about insecurities, identity, being okay with who you are. Like with the trans issue, for example, if you're okay with who you are, there'd be no need to take drugs or have surgery because you're okay with who you are, which includes your body. I'm a naturalist, so it is your body. And for so many people, they can't handle not being liked, or the need, their desire to be accepted and loved is so high. I think because they didn't have a good father in the home in a lot of cases. I would love to see a study on that. I would love to see a study on 10,000 trans people, even 10,000 gay and lesbian people, and 10,000 heterosexual normal people. Normal, I said it because meaning typical. And correlate that with good fathers in the home. And you'd need some metric for a good father. It's easy to see if there's a father in the home. Well, it's easier. I do have live chat up. Not top chat. I have live chat. How many people would be willing to bet that there's no correlation between fathers in the home and some of these issues I raised? Especially the trans issue. Especially like the non-binaries out there. I'm not saying that these people don't exist or have these thoughts, proclivities, but I'm saying that I think there is a correlation. I'd be willing to place a big wager on it. Ithaca says there's absolutely a correlation, but have you seen any studies on it? Like I would suspect that some people would be apprehensive, some researchers would be, or pollsters would be apprehensive to undertake this. Because what if it were true that 80% of all trans people come from either a broken home or a abusive home where the father's not there or it was abusive? Like, what if that were true? Like, that would force some of the feminists to say, maybe we could avoid all this, all these bad feelings if the fathers would stay in the home. Anybody else want to call in? How do you get fathers to stay in the home? Through praising and shaming. I think, so for example, you lean left, right? Deus Ex Machina? I think you lean left, based on some of the comments I've seen. Yeah, you could use tax incentives, but I think, like for example, African Americans have, I believe, the lowest or the highest fatherless homes. Society has to be willing to shame minorities. Right now, a lot of people left could never, ever shame a minority. Say something bad about a minority, because it's not their fault, it's society's. That's the way their brain thinks. But with taxes, like right now there's an incentive for women to just have coitus, have kids, father leaves, government pays them. How do you stop that? I don't know. Any suggestions? Shame, like the left are going to freak out, but you got to shame the victim, which is this girl who so desperate for love will shack up with a guy, and the guy leaves. You look at the girl and say, that's your fault. Unless he raped you, you're the gatekeeper to coitus. Bad. And if you made that mistake, okay, you made the mistake. Don't ever make that mistake again. This is, I think, one of the main differences between the left and right is the ability to actually be okay with making other people feel bad. The left are a little hesitant to do that. Yes, I agree, Sasha. Sexual abuse on children can mess with sexual health in adults later. Like, how many... Like, this is... I don't know the answer to this. I really don't. But how many gay men are gay today because their uncle messed with them as a kid? I don't know. Is there any correlation? Like, that they would actually be heterosexual today if that didn't happen when they were a kid. Now, if being gay is 100% genetic, then you should say that it has no effect. A third to half of all girls have been abused? Is that true? See, I come from a pretty traditional, moral Mennonite background. I don't think it's that high. Mitesh, you got this idea in your head that a lot or most people on the right just want people to suffer for no reason. No. But people on the right want accountability in terms of personal responsibility. So instead of saying systematic racism made me feel lonely and sad and need to be loved by someone, so I hooked up with them and got pregnant. At some point you got to say, no, that was you who did that. Don't blame the world around you. That was you. You made a mistake. Don't make it again. Yeah, well, my daughter's 20, and I can say with a very high degree of confidence she's never been sexually abused, and comes from a very stable home, and she'll make great wife material. Make me an offer. How much for your daughter? Give me 20 shekels and 100 sheep, and she's yours. What accent was that? Is that Russian? Enough of the whataboutism, Mitesh. I'm for accountability for Trump too. And Biden. Yeah, my daughter's been pretty good staying off TikTok. Like, she's 20 now, but when she was 14, 15, 16, no Instagram, no TikTok. And I was pretty clear with my daughter growing up. Like, I had hard talks with her. I said, look, there's always, always, always going to be women out there who are far better looking than you. And you need to understand that, accept it, and be okay with it. But then I told her, because this is what screws up a lot of young girls, is they're trying to compete with freaks of nature on TikTok who won the genetic lottery. But I told her, look, you're a mixed race. You have beautiful skin. And when you're 40 and these TikToker girls are 40, they're going to get uglier and you're going to get better looking. My daughter smiled. I got something to look forward to. Who would make the perfect candidate for your daughter? I kind of said a young man who comes from a stable home, 2 parents, respectful parents, low rate of divorce in the history of the family, extended family, smart, intelligent, get up and go, drive, initiative. Looks are like, if you marry for looks, you're stupid. I mean, solely for looks. Like, you got to be attracted physically, of course, but as a guy, do you want to marry a supermodel? No. Unless you're huge, strong, big, that you can take basically, you put the fear of God in any guy who looks at your wife in public, like they're not going to try anything. And even as a woman, do you want a supermodel, good-looking man? No. Can you imagine dealing with all the advances of women who are after your 1% man, who's over 6 feet tall, beautiful, and makes 6 figures? You're constantly going to be worried at the supermarket. You want to average, not great looking, not ugly, Average is fine. That's why I'm the perfect man, because I'm a solid 5, maybe 6. And I know this because nobody stares at me. If people stare at you in public, you're either really good looking or really ugly. I'll leave it up to you to figure out which is which. Yeah, my daughter likes art. She's trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life, which is a very tough thing for a young person to do nowadays. As a blonde in her 40s, I agree. I was speaking for Mel, not me. I'm not a blonde in my 40s. I'm a blonde in my 50s. Women date one number up and men one down. Yeah, I think that's... I've heard 2. That you can get... If you're a really good-looking man with lots of money, over 6 feet tall... No. Hang on. How does that work? Yeah, if you're really good-looking, 6 feet tall, and make lots of money, you can get a 10. Easy. Doug, can you check your chat filter thing? I am saying some really witty stuff in the live chat, but no one seems to be responding. Maybe it's you, Uber, but thanks for the donation. Where were you last night? We missed you at poker. I got it. I got it on live chat. It says all messages are visible. And I haven't blocked you. So are you saying bad words? So if you came late, we talked about thievery, what to do. I still think the solution is the problems tend to be in very densely packed urban areas. Get those thieves out, put them on a farm. The farm is working with the state. Make them pull weeds for food until they learn that there's a cause and effect to life, that you have to earn things. That was my solution to homelessness as well, by the way. And then we talked about reparations, that even in California, the majority of people don't want cash reparations for black people, which is supposed to be a synonym for African American. And then we talked about this men going across seas to find traditional values in women. Uh-oh. Lungfish finally got the courage.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I remember seeing your name in the chat or comments.
Yeah, I enjoy your chat.
What do you have to say?
Nothing. I just thought I'd call in because nobody is calling in.
Oh, you felt sorry for me again, like Converse did.
Yeah, I wanted to reply to Uber. I guess his name is Uber Scheiser.
Yeah.
It's quite a name.
He has other names too.
Yeah, he had a couple questions for me, and that's why he was saying that he wasn't showing up in the chat because I wasn't replying to him.
Oh, you were ignoring him. Okay, what do you want to say to Uber Scheiser?
Yeah, I'm not like ignoring him out of hostility. I don't know. Let's see what he said.
What did you think of my advice for young men to find women? What to look for?
I'm trying to remember.
You weren't listening, were you?
Well, I was listening, but I get distracted easily. Advice for young men. Maybe I wasn't listening at that time. I don't know. Can you cover it again?
That young men should see if the young woman that they're interested in has had a father in the home when she was raised.
Oh, I mean, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm no good with women myself, but if I was going,
Well, maybe you listened to me more and then took my advice, you might be good with women. How old are you?
I'm pretty old. I'm in my 40s.
Oh, you're in your 40s.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been married?
No.
Are you gay?
You know, that's a good question.
Oh, so you might be gay. Are you not willing to come out yet?
I just don't want to discuss my personal life too much, I think.
Well, I'm a closeted gay man, and so there's nothing wrong with that.
Like Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a classic.
So you're
sketch.
familiar with that bit?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
Well, I was going to. The only reason why I wanted to get into personal stuff is because I wanted to help you, because I'm a very compassionate, loving guy, just by nature, and so forgive me if I dove too deep into your personal life, but I can't hold myself back because I care about people so much.
Oh no, I don't think you meant anything by it. I'm just slightly paranoid about internet interactions.
Yeah. Well, here you are on a live stream, though.
I'd kind of been meaning to join, just to see what happens. So.
Have you been a follower of my religious channel?
Yeah, that's how I found you.
How many years?
Maybe a year.
Oh,
I found you via Digital Gnosis.
Okay.
And from Paul Vander Clay. And that's how I ended up here. But this is my favorite religion and politics channel currently.
Oh, good. Thank you. Is there anything I could be doing better?
I mean, I think it's fine. I think you're doing really well. So I don't have much to complain about.
Okay. Well, I'll let you go, and all the best to your life. Do you feel like you have hope, meaning, and purpose right now?
Hope, meaning, and purpose?
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah, I have a project that I'm working on. It's still kind of.
Do you want to divulge what industry you're in?
I've worked in tech. I've been a tech person. I live in California, so.
Oh, so you're a nerd.
Yeah, I guess you could call me that. I mean, I have an anime avatar.
But being a nerd nowadays is very attractive. So I'm sure there's a special someone out there for you, and I won't say what gender, but nerds are of high value because you probably make good money. And are you over 6 feet tall?
I am not over 6 feet tall.
You're 5'8", aren't you?
I do have some friends. I'm 5'10". I'm giving every detail about myself. It's okay.
5'10". I'm green eyes. I like long walks on beaches.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like a dating channel. I was just popping in to sound off on things because I do like posting in your chat.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd just be fun to interact with you because I've seen you so much, and it makes me sad when people don't call in.
Are you? Do you agree with me more than disagree politically, since you live in California and everybody there is going to hell?
Yeah, I do agree with you. I generally lean right.
Okay. Well, that's why you haven't found the special someone.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, and I'm very opposed to religion. So I agree with you on that sense.
May I ask why you're so opposed to religion?
Because primarily because it's just not real. It's something that's made up, and it's something that is.
Well, the value of the U.S. dollar is not real either, but we believe in that.
That would be a cultural fiction, I guess.
Yeah.
But obviously, biblical characters are real in the sense that we are familiar with them as characters, and we know their stories and their teachings and that sort of thing. But they aren't real in the sense that they are historical and actual things. And I don't think we should necessarily stake our life and soul on these ancient mythologies.
Yeah, I agree. Were you ever a Christian, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I spent a good amount of time as a very serious Catholic.
Okay.
Although I was actually raised non-denominational, so I was sort of the Willow Creek model growing up. I actually went to Willow Creek.
Oh, so did I. Did you know that?
Yeah, you told me seeker
sensitive Willow Creek.
That's what you called it. Yeah, I was at Willow Creek when Bill Hybels was still there back in the 90s.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you active in it? Were you on stage? Did you do anything?
I was just a teenager then, but I went to the Saturday morning services, like youth services with rock bands and games and that sort of stuff. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was one of those people on stage with you young people dancing and going to hell with the non-biblical stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I have great memories from that. Some of my best memories of my life was being in church at Willow Creek type denomination and playing my saxophone, singing, doing drama. Like I had huge meaning and purpose, but then they burn their people out. Like if you're talented, they'll use you every week, and you got practices twice a week, and
well, your soul becomes on the line if you don't show up.
Yeah, I remember the music pastor calling me and said, "So and so sick, we need you," and I was just burnt out, and I said, "Shut down the service because I'm not coming." I mean, I had to put my foot down. And by the way, here's some advice for all you youngins. Lungfish is older, but learn to say no. And that's probably the best advice I can give you. If you're feeling burnt out, someone wants you to do something, just look at them right in the eyes and say no, and move on.
Yeah, I guess that's an option. I mean, that's actually the title of this stream now.
Oh, it is. Yeah. You brought it all the way around, Lungfish. That's what I like about you. Okay, I'll let you get back to your project.
All right. Yeah, maybe.
What, you wanted to say something important?
Not necessarily. Maybe I'll talk to you again later. I think it's good to just break the ice a little bit, though.
Okay, call back next week.
All right, bye.
See ya. He did have something important to ask. But now we'll never know. Any advice for being married to a conspiracy theorist? Raising kids is difficult when you have different views. Oh, Maria. Which conspiracy, may I ask? You're married to one? I'll tell you what, Maria. This is what you do. You use a little technique called the Socratic method of questioning. It's also called street epistemology, or cognitive coaching. So you ask questions like, what would change your mind on this? What would make you more confident in this? What would make you less confident in this? How did you arrive at this belief? There's, go check out, are you listening, Maria? Go check out a channel called Cordial Curiosity. He's a good friend of mine named Reed. He will model the behavior you ought to follow. But it's going to be a little tricky because you're married. So, yeah. Or here's another idea. This is probably the most important idea I have for you. If your husband is a conspiracy theorist, tell your husband that you will withhold all coitus until he changes. No, don't do that. We will not negotiate with terrorists. I'm kidding, Maria. But go check out, I wasn't kidding about Cordial Curiosity. Or Anthony Magnabosco. Or even Peter Boghossian. Poof. Or even me.